Hello, my name is Kate Hawley. I am the current managing editor of YoChicago and New Homes magazine, but to my right here is Patrick Rollins, who will shortly be the new me. So, green building is a new topic for some people. Before an inconvenient truth came out, green building wasn't, or green environmental issues weren't on everyone's lips the way they are now, although some people have been obviously following and caring about this subject for a long time. What is really compelling about green building to you, and why should we all be paying attention to it now?
Well, Kate, it's interesting. Green building and the genesis of that whole effort in industry is all based around the idea of energy efficiency, maximizing your dollar, and really having an impact on the bottom line, which is something that makes sense to everyone, every property owner, be they commercial developer who owns several office towers or a single family that owns one home. You're always looking to get the most out of your money, and at the end of the day, green building does this in a way that delivers the best possible impact on the environment as well. So it makes sense both from a business standpoint and from an environmental standpoint. One thing that we did at my previous magazine, we made a pretty conscious choice not to include the word green in quotation marks, because that sort of implies that it's a fad or it's some sort of fleeting movement that might not be here in a couple of years. So I really try to steer away from that, and I treat it, the same way that I'd treat any other trend in real estate. Be it the hotel condo boom or a new neighborhood cropping up. I mean, it's a relevant and valid topic.
What do you think of this issue? Critics of sprawl sometimes say that green building is all well and good, but what's really going to cut down on greenhouse gases is sort of a rethinking of the way communities are designed, to take cars increasingly out of the equation. What's your feeling on that issue?
Well, that's a huge issue, and again, it really kind of speaks to a number of different themes, both from urban planning, also local government, municipality ordinances. Buildings account for about 40% of all carbon emissions worldwide, just the construction and operation of buildings, which is a huge number, and it's, I believe, the largest single bucket, that we can look at to identify if we're looking to reduce those impacts. So absolutely, green building is part of the solution, I believe, and identifying exactly what the problem is going to be a real challenge moving forward. I do like what you brought up about transit-oriented development, just these ideas of creating new urban models that promote the use of public transit. But again, that's something that you've got to understand, what your constituents are. Taxpayers in DeKalb, Illinois, for example, don't particularly want to pay taxes that are going to support rail cars in Chicago or something, because they're not going to see the benefit, or they don't believe they're going to see the benefit. So it's a matter of reaching the right people, increasing awareness and education, and being open to new ideas. And along that line, I have my own issues with the LEED program from the U.S. Green Building Council, but I do think that one of the best parts of it is the fact that it's an open system. Anybody can take a look at the guidelines and offer commentary. And the U.S. Green Building Council has been very open and willing to make changes to the entire rating system. They roll out new LEED version X.X frequently, and I believe they actually quit doing that nomenclature now. They just call it LEED something. But just their willingness to change and adapt constantly, because that's exactly what the industry is doing now. This is far from a mature industry. It's still, it's really still in its infancy, even though I guess LEED's been going on for 10 or 12 years.
And I guess my last question on this front would be, I've heard some home inspectors and others say that the real problem, especially in this city, is the building code itself and just sort of meeting the basic requirements for safe buildings. Is that a challenge that you see as well in terms of designing and building structures that are environmentally sound and friendly?
That's actually a huge problem, and I've had a couple different brushes with the City of Chicago Building Code, and I'm certainly not an expert on it, but I was speaking to someone a couple of months ago at an industry convention, and they mentioned a new development that it was an office building that had waterless urinals. Pretty cool, interesting idea. Certainly wouldn't want to, got to make sure that they work. But the
Indeed,
thing
yeah.
with it is, according to the City of Chicago building code, you can't have waterless urinals. Or you can, but all the back-end mechanics for flushing have to be present right there behind the drywall. So it really defeats the purpose of having a waterless urinal and makes it simply just for show. I will say, here we are at the beginning of December. Things may have changed. I'm certainly not trying to cast myself as an expert on waterless urinals. But it was just interesting, the fact that there was really no benefit to it. It was purely aesthetic for people who wanted to do it in Chicago.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Great.
Thanks, guys.
Sure.
Thank you very much.
That's good.